the name of the Lord. I want to continue the powerful law of ownership, possession, and the law of dedication. Powerful law. This law is even much more powerful or esoteric. It's an unbreakable law. It's a universal law. It's immutable law. It's a law that actually governs almost every other law in the spirit. In fact, it's much more powerful and overriding over the law of sin and death. Now we're going to talk about this law based on one, heritage. Remember, there are three ways you can actually inherit things, inherit possession, inherit things in your background, in your pedigree, in your family tree. One, you have the bloodline, the gene or the DNA of your parents, or whoever are your progenitors or ancestors. That's why we call it family tree or bloodline or pedigree. The second thing is that you bear their name, what we call surname or family name. You share it together. You're a partaker of that name, and you are called by your name. Everybody answer to their name, and their name is familiar. Third thing is true covenant, because when people are linked by bloodline and linked by name, automatically they have a natural bloodline heritage covenant. That's why we call it generational issues or phenomenon. It is this covenant that either lead to generational curse or generational blessings. In fact, blessing and curses, breakthrough, deliverance, turnaround, victory, freedom, as well as blessings, increase, overflow, prosperity, and advancement and success in life is a product of covenant. Either positive covenant if you are succeeding, or negative covenant if you are failing or into wretchedness or meltdown. It doesn't matter whether it's financial meltdown, which is economic, or health, procreation, as well as success in life. Now let's look at this law. I want to go back to the story of Samuel. Before Samuel was even born, before he was even conceived, Samuel was dedicated to a background idol. I mean, not Samuel, most Africans, so to speak. But Samuel here, I want to use him as an example of this issue. Don't forget that whatever happened in positive supernatural also happened in negative supernatural. Spiritual truth are parallel. Spiritual laws are like two-edged sword. They can work either ways. So anything that is in God, Satan will steal it, will adopt it, will copy it, then will pervert it to put people in bondage, which is actually what God intended to bless people, to advance them, to progress them, to promote them, to protect them, to make them receive his best and his covenant blessings. Now, look at it this way, child of God. I'm going to read from first book of Samuel, chapter 1, from verse 11. If we back up to 10 a little bit, he said, and she was talking about the mother of Samuel, Anna. She was in bitterness of soul and prayed unto the Lord and wept sore. And she vowed a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thy handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thy handmaid, but will give unto thy handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no result come upon his aid. 12. And it came to pass, as she continued praying before the Lord, that Eli marked her mouth. Now Anna, she spake in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken. And Eli said unto her, how long wilt thou be drunken? Put away thy wine from thee. And Hannah answered and said, No, my Lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord. Count not thy handmaid for a daughter of Belial, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief have I spoken hitherto. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. 18. And he said, Let thy handmaid find grace in thy sight. So the woman went her way and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad. I want you to see something here, child of God. I want you to look at where I'm shooting at concerning this law. Remember the name of this law: law of dedication, ownership, and possession. We all come from a family tree. We all come from a bloodline. On our mother's side, on our father's side. When you see yourself was not where you started, or where your pedigree, or family tree, or family lineage, or genealogy, or genetics started, you have the DNA of your natural parents, both on your mother's side, on your father's side. Here, we see a father figure, an authority figure, so to speak, I mean to say, a mother figure, a parent, speaking, making a vow, dedicating her baby, making a covenant, signing up, initiating herself to an altar. She went to the temple. In fact, theologians say that Anna was barren for more than 28 years. Some theologians say 21 years, some say 28 years. Nothing happened all this while until she made a vow. She made a sacrifice to God because she would deny herself the joy of raising her own kid. That kid will be raised by an altar, a deity. And thank God, this altar, this deity, this power behind this altar is Lord God Almighty, the real author of altars, the most powerful altar, the author of righteousness, the author of glory, the author of victory, the author of unprecedented supernatural turnaround. Now, this altar was God Himself, God the Father, of course.